Good morning, good morning, good morning. What is up, folks? JT here with another Chart Talk Live brought to you by Xtrades. Hope everybody's doing well this morning. Let's get going. Let me get my screens and everything just the way I want them. I didn't want to move that around. Go that. Make sure that's still the size I want it. All right, cool. There we go. What's up, Navy Plum? Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Let me get my screen sharing started. There it is. Share that screen. There we go. All right. Let's get over to the chat. What's up, Tremblant? Good to see you in the mix this morning. Hope you're doing well. All right. I think I'm situated, ready to go. Actually, let me load that set of indicators. Okay, cool. All right, we don't need the watch list right now. What's up, LB? Hope you're doing well. Hope you didn't stay up all night watching gold futures. We'll take a look at the gold chart this morning as we get through. Excuse me. Let me get some of this coffee in as we get through our stream here this morning. All right, let's. You did. Don't sweat it, man. Don't sweat it. Shouldn't be so heavy in a position that you lose any sleep over it, right? Cursed. Blessing and a curse, right? Okay. Let's dig in. So, from a futures perspective, let's get over here to the hourly chart. Things are continuing to move pretty well. We did have that big pullback, but that pullback brought us right into the 333 SMA confluence with a key level there. Ultimately, we saw a little bit of a liquidity sweep below, but that held. Remember, when we see these liquidity sweeps, whether they're to the upside or the downside, make sure that you're paying attention to that. That's a good opportunity in a lot of cases to catch a counter move, so a move going in the opposite direction. What's up, Ryan Brown? Good morning. NBiz, you want to take a look at NBiz? I don't know, man. I feel like NBiz is a total chase at this point. But we can certainly take a look at it, try to plot something out for it. That did have a massive move yesterday after hours, after that news broke of a big deal they just landed. Let me get a little bit of coffee in here. It's hard to keep these wheels turning without a little bit of lubrication from good old coffee. Absolutely a chaser is short. Yeah, we'll take a look at it. See if we can't come up with some kind of an idea for it. But quick short, yeah, be very careful with it, whatever you decide to do. Be very careful, very small, but we'll take a look at it. I'm not totally disinterested in how that chart might look right now. All right, so like I said, saw a pullback, a little bit of liquidity sweep below there on the 300 or 333 SMA, dipped right below that 64.57 key level that we've been watching, and has since pushed kind of slowly, but pushed back up from that since then. So far things are looking like they're grinding back toward the upside here, but certainly not quite as aggressively as we'd probably like. We really do want some volatility and some directionality to help facilitate better returns, quicker trades, fun scalps, all that kind of stuff. So overall, market's looking still very much to be a buy the dip market. Key levels are holding, key confluences are holding, and things are continuing to bounce and push to the upside. So yeah, keep an eye on things to continue to push higher. But let's take a look at some of our specific tickers. We'll do some recaps, and then we'll get to work on some new trade plans here this morning. So from last Tuesday's live stream session, we had Palantir. Palantir did give us a push to the upside, got all the way to PT2, but then it got caught by the 200 SMA, pulled back all the way, really ultimately to the put entry. A little bit of a bounce prior to hitting that level exactly, but very close to our level. Double bottom on these back-to-back hourly candles, and has since pushed higher and is now pushing back through some of our price targets. So we could have recycled this plan if you've been keeping an eye on it. It's now over that 200 that it rejected previously, and looks to be trying to flip it to support. So Palantir might try to make another push here. We'll keep a close eye on that, but so far price targets have been hit. This one's been a successful plan, and again, could have been played a couple of times if you have stuck to these plans and been dedicated to following them throughout since we've done that plan last Tuesday. We also did Apple last Tuesday. Apple absolutely ripped after hours. This one was kind of a, unless you were catching it with shares, kind of a no trade scenario here, because most of the price action did happen after hours. It did clear through all of our price targets and is still hovering up near PT3 and riding the overall bullish momentum. Great catch, by the way, on NTS here for those using it. Nice dip right into our key buying pressure, key buying level, and is ultimately pushed higher. SMA's moving to the upside, so Apple's still looking quite bullish, but I think after that big move is certainly in a bit of a consolidation cool down phase before it decides which direction it's going to go next. MicroStrategy, we also, I keep calling it MicroStrategy, strategy, we did last Tuesday as well. Oh, excuse me, golly, I had to get those yawns out of my system before I do these live streams. Let me get some more coffee. This one has followed the SMAs to the downside. Anytime it's pushed up into the sell pressure near that 200 SMA, it's gotten some breaks to the downside, some push momentum to the downside. Did give us a confirmed break to the put entry side of things, but no follow through. I'm not really sure why we didn't get follow through. It certainly was a very bearish looking chart. Ultimately did pull up for a stop out on this trade, but it is catching that SL average down as resistance here this morning. That 200 is catching up to it, still overall in a bearish trend and under some selling pressure according to NTS. So watch this one to potentially complete the downside move that it's faked out on a couple of times, but I would also say be very careful. We've clearly seen some sweeps below our put entry level there at 325.91. So keep a close eye on this one, but I would also say tread carefully, tread lightly as far as going too big on your opening position size if you're going to try to catch this downside trade plan, because we have seen, like I said, a couple of fake outs there down below that put entry at 325.91. Disney, this one we actually have an open and active alert on. We are following this plan. Overall, the chart's been bullish. SMAs trending to the upside. Did give us a confirmed break back here last Thursday, so that's where we took our entry. I thought about taking some profits here on this push that happened early into the trading day. It was pretty much a very quick spike up near PT1, but didn't quite get all the way there, so I decided to hold off on closing any positions. We're still in this one with the initial position size, no contracts added or scaled out yet. So keeping an eye on this one, we did see a little bit of a sweep below, but that's a good sign, I think, in my opinion, that sweep below held. Tried to get us to stop out, tried to shake us out, but we're still in. Swept below the 200 SMA here on the hourly chart into that bullish selling or buy pressure, and ultimately has climbed back over our call entry and looks like it wants to push for PT1. So we'll be keeping an eye on Disney to complete this upside move, and we'll start scaling out some profits on this one, hopefully today. That would be nice. Go ahead and book some profits on it, move our stops up. Remember, don't let those green trades go red. And next we have gold. This one is what kept LB up all night, staring at gold futures. This one's been a great one for us. Last Friday gave us the break above, back test of the call entry for a great call entry setup. From there, ultimately yesterday, ripped straight up to PT2, caught some resistance there, but now we're above PT2 and trying to backtest and hold that as support. So watch this one for potential continuation. But remember, don't be too greedy. Make sure you are taking some profits and moving your stops up. If you are riding just a single contract, make sure you're moving your stops up at the very least. You can always chase these plans by continuing to raise your stop losses until we get through some of these targets. And then last but not least, for our trade plan recaps before we get to some new trade plans, we had Lay's. This was an upside only trade plan. It's not given us a confirmed entry back above 245 yet, so this one's been kind of just a wait and see. Did hold that weekly level down below there at 184 on that test last Friday. Is trying to recover here, but like I said, looks very problematic. However, over 245, especially with this NTS hourly sell pressure flag, just below 245, a clearance of 245, and you know what I'd really like to see is a push above and a back test as support. Clearly would be a good sign for Lay's to perhaps go on another run, so keep an eye on it as we move forward. So those are our trade plan recaps. Let's get to some new trade plans. Let's see what kind of ticker requests we got here. Do I think Wolf plan is still okay for an entry at 968? Let's take a look at Wolf real quick. What's up, Chris? Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Oh, you've got a China ticker request for me, don't you? Well, I don't know if you've decided on which one, but what were? Oh yeah, that's right. Let's take a quick look at Wolf. PDD, Pin Duo Duo. Although didn't they change their name or something? Let's see. Got all my levels hidden here. Let's pop those on the chart. Yeah, this one's kind of spent a lot of time consolidating, testing, trying to break through that 968 level. So yeah, I certainly think Wolf could potentially get some legs. SMAs have caught up with it. Yeah, I think over 968 could be a good entry, and follow the plan from there. So yeah, keep an eye on it. And let's just put out a reminder, because this plan is still, I would say, perfectly intact. So let's just put out a reminder of what this trade plan is. Let's lock this into the trade plan pilot. I'll pop it in and we'll reactivate the alerts on it. Tighten this up a bit. And that works. I've got a shared stop loss average down in there. There we go. That looks good. Yeah, there we go. So this is a bit of a live stream retread. But still looks like a valid plan nonetheless to me. So let's get that published in the Elite channel so we can reactivate our alerts. You're in my way. Window. There we go. And let's lock this into one of our templates. Set our alerts. Cool, cool, cool. Tight, tight, tight. All right, Wolf Plan is back in the mix, and alerts are reactivated on it. Good spot there, Navy Plum. We'll take a look at that one and keep an eye on it. I certainly think that this one has some good potential here. So yeah, I'm glad that you brought that back up. Navy Plum always keeping an eye on some of these plans a lot longer than we typically track them on these live streams, and obviously paying him quite well. All right, so we had Pinduoduo PDD for the homie Chris. Get our levels on the chart here. PDD Holdings, that's what they changed their name to. I was like, I feel like they changed their name. I will always call it Pinduoduo. All right, so let's see. What's this one doing? Nice bounce there off the NTS 4-hour buy pressure confluence with this 118.94 level. Perfect bounce has brought it back up into this trade range. Looks like we did this plan back in March of this year. It's clearly respecting these levels. Little sweep above, ultimately rejection down from our prior call entry there at 135.09. I think this downside plan needs some tweaking though, since the last time we looked at it in March. Man, that levels has been rejecting a lot and taking us down to price targets a lot. I'm just a little bit concerned about this sweep and bounce just below on that 118.94 level from just totally revisiting this plan as is. Yeah, I've had a couple of requests for NBiz, so we will try to take a look at that. I know that that's got everybody's attention after its massive after hours run yesterday, so we will take a look at it. Obviously, it's going to be a chase or a quick short. We'll see. Be very careful with it, whatever you do, after some very volatile moves yesterday after hours. All right. Yeah, I think we will make an adjustment on this plan, but levels have been playing out very nicely. And again, we did these plan levels back in March, but they are still working to this day, months later, 6 months later. I do want to change this around a little bit, though. I want to wait a little bit longer on this put entry, especially now that we have that flag confluence here on the 4 hour in this particular scenario. I like a stop loss, adjusted stop loss with this adjusted entry right here. Now, I don't think we change the targets at all, though. PT1 and PT2 certainly look good. Yeah, I mean, this was our third target from that March plan. Clearly, we've made a good rally off of that. Yeah, I'm not going to change these targets at all. Just a slight adjustment to the put entry and stop loss average down levels. I think we probably can make some adjustments on this upside trade plan, though. So let's figure that out real quick. This is an interesting level that it's tested pre-market here. I wonder if we can move it down to 128.27. Is that where we just rejected? No, that pushed up through there. Yeah, there is a level here, though, that I certainly want to watch as a price target at the very least. And I think this 128.27 level. Well, I don't know. It could be right where it needs to be, actually. Let's get down to a slightly smaller time frame here. I want to just make sure that we're not getting into a potential false breakout. Maybe it does need to be just a tad higher. Wonder if it's looking more like this. Let's keep an eye on this right there real quick. And I don't want to lose sight of this level, so I'm gonna I know we're looking at something right in this neck of the woods. Puff Daddy P. Diddy. Puff Diddy Diddy instead of Pinduo Duo. Bro, what are you saying? I would certainly say the same thing. All right. This is what I'm thinking. Let's take one more look at this. This is also a very, very interesting reject. Who refills their baby oil? I guess probably if anybody did, it would have been Puff Daddy. All right. I know I've gotten a little bit in the weeds on this plan. I just wanted to, I don't know, I'm a little bit iffy on this upside trade plan, so just calling it out right now. But at some point, you got to shoot your shot, right? So I think we've got this set up solidly now. So let's get this locked in. All right. That's what we're looking for. Whoops. Pin decimal decimal. That's what that almost was. And let's give a little bit more offset. So those labels look nice and legible. All right, let's go, P. Diddy Diddy. I kid, I kid. Here is our Pinduo Duo live stream plan. No, it will never leave my mind now. It will. I'll chuckle about it anytime anybody brings up this ticker from this moment forward. And let's get this posted in the elite chat. Why am I? There we go. That should fix that. All right. Posting this in the elite chat. Let's get our alerts set. Let's also get this locked in. Almost forgot. Set these alerts. Yep, that all looks good. Well, mouse went a little spastic on me there. All right, what are we looking for here on Pin Duo? Y'all thought I was going to say it, didn't you? We're looking for a break over 129.06 to go long on this one. That should give us targets at 135.09, 141.15, and 145.52, with a stop loss average down at 123.43. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 118.94. That should give price targets at 113.78, 108.92, and 101.91, with a shared stop loss average down with the upside trade plan there at 123.43. Those are your Pin Duo live stream plans. All right, we've had a couple of requests for NBIZ this morning. Let's take a look at it. See if we can't figure out a plan for it despite its insane moves yesterday after hours. Good analysis is always good analysis, right? However, be mindful. This one is going to continue to be very volatile while FOMOers try to jump in and chase, and while shorts try to knock this one down. I'm pretty sure that was a push to above all-time highs there yesterday evening. Let's get this figured out, though. Looks like we had a trade plan on it. I don't know from how long ago. That said go long over 35.70 for what it's worth. 333 bounce right there on the hourly. All right. That was forever ago. Not all that relevant. Just pointing it out. Yeah, I was going to say, is this not all-time highs? All right. Let's see. NBIZ. Well, we have this prior all-time high where we've clearly had a pullback. You can use that to create a set of fib extensions. Also, while I'm at it, clearly good level right here. Higher. Yep. I mean, really, that move starts off here. Should take us down right about here, I'm guessing. Yep, that looks good. So let's trace these out. See where that lands us. Well, how about that? That rejection came very close to what I think was the 100% extension off that prior all-time high. So that's helpful. It's actually a little bit higher. Right about here, 108. Let's knock that down. 73. There we go. Back testing off this 91.13 extension, holding that as support. That 91.13 being the 0.382. Again, we do not have a lot of price action to work with here. This is all very fib driven. Did I put up a UNH trade plan, LB? I don't think we've talked about UNH today or all that recently. All right, NBIZ. So we've already broken above and back tested the 0.382. That means that's the 0.5 there. Let's take a look at this on a smaller time frame. Okay, we'll take a shot at this way. This is going to be very, very different type of approach to a trade plan. So be prepared. But what I'm thinking is as long as we are holding over 97.86, this could be it's not really a buy the dip plan because this is not a dip, more of a buy the rip plan. Preferably, I'd like to see a little bit more of a pullback going into market open down to this 94.56 level off of our trend-based fib extensions. And again, remember, I need to be very clear about this. You know, we are in heavy price discovery right now, big catalysts after hours. So this is absolutely proceed with extreme caution. We are essentially working off of projections of support and resistance levels, not anything that's truly established. So again, these are really best educated guess levels. This is, you know, not my preferred wheelhouse, which is, you know, established price history, price data, price action that we use to develop the levels in the plan. So disclaimers out of the way. As long as we're holding that 97.86, but again, I'd prefer to see a little bit of a dip below into this buy range and then a pushback over and back test during the trading session and a bounce off of 97.86 to potentially retest this rejection off that 100% extension there at 108.73. So could be, but if we're holding above it, we also have VWAP right there. That's a good confluence. So it could be as long as 97.86 is holding going into the open, could be a good entry. So we've got a plan in place. Certainly, I would say start small on this one and leave plenty of dry powder to average down. So, you know, start with a, you know, quarter to half of your usual position size. The other thing, and again, I hate to just litter this analysis with disclaimers, but the other thing we need to be very conscientious of and aware of is the fact that with all this volatility, these contract prices are going to be very juiced on implied volatility. That gets baked into those options contract prices. So that implied volatility, as things rebalance and settle out and RSI comes down and all that sort of stuff, as that volatility again evens out and starts to come out of the pricing of those contracts, that could also be a hindrance to how much profit gets generated on a trade, even if we do start hitting price targets and stuff like that. So anyway, all disclaimers out of the way, be very careful with this one. So we've got a PT1. PT2 seems like a bit of an extreme stretch to take it up to 126.06, which I believe is the probably the 1.618. Yep. 1.618 extension. We do have another extension up here, but clearly we need price targets in between. So we don't really have let me look at this on a higher time frame. Typically what I like to see to draw a set of trend-based fib extensions is some sort of a pullback at least to the trend that starts the move to an all-time high. We obviously don't have that pullback just yet, but we do have a pretty solid rejection up there. And it's been higher lows really ever since this tested this weekly level here at 43.51. So let's take a shot at this. Certainly not, again, how I would typically approach this, but there is some method to the madness here. That needs to come back a little further. There we go. So we've got a little bit of a confluence up there. Let's use this 0.382 as a potential PT2. Again, this is very fast and loose technical analysis with this set of fib extensions. The other set I feel good about. In fact, let's do this because I don't want to confuse the two. I think this is slightly different color. These are the more speculative, but we are getting some confluences, some overlaps. All right, so that gives us a call entry PT123. So then the question is downside. Prior all-time high was right here, right? No, I'm wrong about that. Right there. I will be surprised if we see a put entry on this, but stranger things have happened. Oops, didn't mean to move that. Yeah, I do like this as a first target for this potential pullback plan. Put that in your alliterative pipe and smoke it. Potential pullback plan. Second target would be there. We can share a stop loss with the upside trade plan. Third target, actually right there probably. Yeah, actually that's perfect. Okay, very wonky looking trade plans. No surprises there with this being in a period of extreme volatility. That being said, the risk reward actually works out, even though this looks very tight to the downside and giving plenty of room for the upside, but that also makes a lot of sense given the recent catalyst that we just saw. So let's see how this plays out. Let's see those levels. All right, so we're looking for essentially a hold of 97.86 or a break back above. Whoops, not 67.86. Over that, we're looking for 108.73, 119.13, and 126.06. Stop loss average down at 91.13. Put entry down there at 87.19 with targets at 82, 49, 78, 40, and 75, 42. Shared stop loss average down. Let's adjust that just a little bit. Yep, that looks good. All right. So again, tread carefully. But here is our shot at an NBiz live stream plan. Careful, careful, careful. All right, let's get this posted in the elite chat. And let's get our alerts set up. Let's get this locked into one of our templates. Let's drop our starting line down there. Let's get these alerts going. No. Oh, shoot. I do that every time. Give this until next Tuesday. Alerts are set. All right, so what are we looking for here on NBiz? We are looking for a break back above or a hold of 97.86. We want to see that act as support. That should give us price targets at 108.73, 119.13, and 126.06. Stop loss average down at 91.13 to the downside. Again, kind of tightly stacked up levels, but a break below 87.19 should see targets at 82.49, 78.40, and 75.42. Shared stop loss average now with that upside trade plan there at 91.13. All right, we are getting about 13 minutes out from market open. I'm going to need a little bit of time to get the SPY plan put together and posted for the group. So I want to thank everybody for joining me this morning. I really do appreciate y'all taking some of your time as we get ready for the trading day to join me and go through some analysis and set up some of these trade plans. It's much appreciated. As we always say here on Chart Talk Live, yeah, let's go gold. See that one continue to push. It looks looking healthy. Looks like it's bouncing off of our PT2. We might see PT3. You're gonna get your wish, although you didn't need to lose any sleep over it. LB, remember, let the trades play out. Don't stress them too much. Don't let them force you to lose any sleep. All right, as we always say here on Chart Talk Live, plan your trades, trade your plans. Remember, we're looking for profits, not perfection. So go out there, keep your wins big, keep your losses small, go get some green. I will see you all in the chats, and I will see you back here Thursday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, take care. Have a fantastic day.